Talked about building habits here in training camp that could sustain you through adversity and when things go sideways. Can you give us an example of what are the habits you are trying to build and have been building here?
Yeah, like we talked about, I think a couple of days ago, just in all four phases of the game. So whether it is our offensive transition or organizing our offense, how we want to move, which positions to fill, because it's like when we talk about habits, we want to take as little bandwidth as possible with the mind, so it can be used on decision making and playing instead of searching for where do I need to be, for example, on the court, or habits that have to do with our pick and roll defense or our transition defense. How do we want so that everybody's on the same page and everybody knows what their job is?
When it comes to getting to the decision of figuring out a starting five, what are the key things that you're looking for, that you're trying to assess and determine who are those players going to be?
Well, just that having lineups that make sense. So it's like starters are one thing, but really it's more about the whole 48 minutes that we have a flow of lineups that can sustain our intensity and our execution. And like I think yesterday was the question, that we have the right balance of, let's say, on-ball creation and then length on defense, rebounding, these different components. I would say that's more important to me than who are specifically the starters.
We've talked a lot about offensive strategy, but defensively, I think in Europe especially, tagging up was something that you guys did a lot. What makes that effective, and is that something that you would consider going to this year as a strategy?
Yeah, I mean, we tagged up. We were one of the rare teams, I think, in Europe who were consistently top three in offensive rebounding and defensive transition. So I think the misconception about the tagging up conceptually is that it's an offensive rebounding system, but it's a defensive transition system, and the rebounds are a byproduct of that. And we saw that also last year when we had pretty good success on the offensive. And it's a very intense way to do it. It's a very collective way to do it, and it's very hard to do it. So, but we were able to do it in Europe for several years.
Does that fit with having a player like Zach Edey? I'm sure there might be certain nuances to that, when you have somebody that can rebound offensively the way he does.
Yeah, I mean, you can nuance the things that are like, it's just a name for a concept. And last year we saw, I think, plus 10%-ish offensive rebounding with Zach on the floor, while doing pretty much the same thing. So it's actually those great individual rebounders seem to supercharge that system, and they benefit from the system just as much as the system benefits from them.
So you did do that a lot last year?
Yeah.